Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today I have a review of King George V, the tech tree British battleship. There's actually a number of battleships you can choose from at tier 7, both the Hood and the Nelson, which you can earn with free XP, which thanks to the 2-year anniversary I'm well on my way to achieving because I got a whole bunch of those special Ouroboros flags and such, which just pump out the free XP. Anyways, onto the ship, and I like the King George. I've got her fully upgraded. I'm on my final grind out of her. About 100k to go, which at this rate is going to be about 10 battles. And I've been having a lot of fun and some good results. And what I applied to her right when I started playing is I thought of her kind of like the Dunkirk. One of her key characteristics, in my opinion, is her main batteries. At 356 millimeters, they are the smallest of any of the tech tree battleships. The one exception, obviously, the Scharnhorst with these 283s. And with that comes some good and bad. The good, they reload quick. At 2.4 rounds per minute, you've got a decent rate of fire out of them. And there's situations where you can take advantage of that because you know you're going to reload quicker than the enemy. So say you and an enemy battleship both spot each other and fire at the same time. Well, you don't necessarily have to get your bow in right away because you know they can't fire before you. And I've definitely used that to some great advantage sometimes. And other times it has been moot because the shells are rather small and don't always penetrate. Now, as far as survivability goes, her 60,500 hit points when upgraded put her second in class as far as hit points go. The Nagato was 65,000, topping it out. Where she hurts is the armor, and it's really this 25 millimeter foreplating that hurts her. And pretty much the reason is it can get overmatched by pretty much any battleship but the King George. If you do the quick math, 14.3 times the 25, I think it works out to like 357. So if these guns were 1 millimeter bigger, she could overmatch herself. What it means is a lot of the other ships out there, they're going to be able to overmatch this bow, and it's something that if you see a King George, you can take advantage of and get some consistent damage. Now, as far as her main plates go, they're doing a little better at 381, kind of all around the waterline, and then deeper down, it gets a little thinner. Once again, these 25 millimeter upper decks. And it just means when you get shot at, you're going to eat damage. So the key is, like so many other ships, and kind of like the Dunkirk and a lot of cruisers, you just control how many ships are getting to shoot at you. This isn't a battleship like the Bayern or Gneisenau, those German ones where you can get in there and kind of brawl it out and take a beating. These really are ships that rely on opportunity to do well, and I like that. Now, moving back to the guns, one of the things that I think everybody knows makes the British unique is their fire chance. At 41%, it is high. But it's not that much higher than some other ships. The Colorado is at 34, the Gneisenau 36, the Nagato is the kind of bottom of the basement at 30%. All the battleships have fairly high fire chances, so the British having, that much better, it's not astounding. And I think there's a lot of people going around throwing only HE. Sadly, the game I am going to share, I do throw pretty much exclusively high explosive, but you need to think about AP, and it's just like the Iron Duke and some of the other battleship replays I've shared, know when to use what ammo. And when things are bow on angled with guns of this caliber, HE is what you're going to be using because 25 millimeters, you can't overmatch it. At least you're going to get consistent damage with the HE if they're angled, whereas the AP could start ricocheting. As far as her AA and secondaries go, nothing remarkable in my opinion. The AA guns are kind of on par with what you'd expect at the tier, a rating of 56. You know, it's similar to the Scharnhorst. They're good. There's definitely worse, but like many battleships, I wouldn't expect to be shooting down a whole ton of aircraft, and you need to pay attention to them. As far as the secondaries go, you know, you get some extra fires out of them. That's what they're good for. Now, one of the things that kind of starts to make her special is her speed. At 28 knots, she's second fastest if you consider the Gneisenau and Scharnhorst are the same ship. 28 knots, she is just a touch slower than upgraded than a stock Gneisenau is. The stock Gneis, I think, is 28.8. So at 28, you know, you're one of the faster battleships. You're definitely faster than the Nagato, and the Colorado might as well be standing still compared to you. And that is an advantage. It means you can hunt down battleships. It means you can get away from them if you end up in a situation where you've got a couple enemy battleships closing in on you. And then concealment, nothing to mail home about. Battleships aren't really about concealment. As far as my module setup goes, nothing too special here. I've got Magazine Mod 1. I just don't have enough Juliet Charlies right now to run them. Aiming Mod 1, Damage Control, and Rudder Shift. I pretty much always boost Rudder Shift. For me, it's the one I like out of this slot. I don't find Propulsion or Damage Control 2 as useful as a quick rudder. Because with a quick rudder, sometimes you can react quick enough to just dodge the damage altogether. Now, as far as my captain goes, I think this is pretty standard fare as well. I've gone with preventative maintenance. Just don't like losing guns or any of my modules. At rank 2, I've got expert marksman. The guns are pretty quick at a 45-second 360. Really, the Colorado is the only thing that's going faster than that. So it's not that they're slow, I just like to make them a little faster. For my rank 3 skill, I've got Superintendent, more heals, more spotter planes, and then I've gone with fire prevention and advanced fire training. And this is to push the AA guns out a bit. I have found it useful. It just keeps you a little bit safer. And then fire prevention, there's so many British battleships throwing HE. Being a big battleship, a lot of things are throwing HE at you. Reducing the risk of fire and the number of fires on ship has saved my life a couple times. Now, some people would think, you know, demolition expert, but at this point, to spend 3 skill points to raise an already strong fire chance isn't worth it to me. There's going to be those who think it is. That's really a personal call. But let's get into a battle and I can talk about her a little more. We are in a battle and it is loop domination, and as you can see, technically a tier 9 battle, but because there's only 2 of them, no top tier battleships, I'm going to call it more of a tier 8 battle. And oddly enough, all the battleships in this match are actually tier 7s. But with the higher tier comes some higher risk from these destroyers. You know, Fletchers, Bensons, they all start to get more dangerous as you go up a tier or 2. So my obvious plan, or should be obvious based on where I'm pointing, I'm going to head over to A. A lot of the fleet looks to be going there. And initially I'm going to fall into more of a supporting role, and that's how I've been playing the King George. I've started off trying to be kind of that second line. You know, I don't want to be so far back that I'm sniping, but I also don't want to be the main focus, because if you are the main focus, this ship can disappear really quickly. Whereas if you manage to hold just far enough back that maybe 1 or 2 ships are firing at you, between the hit point pool and repair parties, you can keep yourself alive for a long time. I had one match where it was kind of me versus 3 ships off on a flank, and 2 of them were cruisers just bombarding me, and I managed to face down the battleship and keep myself alive to then turn and fight the cruisers. And that's what deep hit point pools allow you to do. Now, of course, that rapidly changes if the ships shooting back are battleships, because anyone who's had a chance to shoot at a King George, knows that you kind of land a lot of regular damage. I haven't found myself getting citadeled too much, or at least personally, but when things shoot you, you tend to take, 5,000-6,000 damage each volley coming in. And in a sense, that's very similar to a ship like the Colorado to me. The Colorado can be really hard to citadel, but you keep shooting her, you do get regular damage in. So my first target here is going to be the enemy King George, and I do have AP loaded at the start. It's what I had at the end of the last match, and I typically just roll with whatever I load into the game with, mostly because I'm not paying a ton of attention. And you can see all those shells hit the bow, and because they're 356 millimeters, I do not have the ability to overmatch, and well, they all ricochet or shatter on impact. That's unfortunate, but to make up for it, I have got HE loaded now, and I let it go. I do now have to pay attention to something else in the form of some incoming torpedoes. And because there are tier 9 ships in this game and a tier 9 enemy destroyer, I have to respect that these probably could make it all the way to me. Now in the end, they don't. They were from the Shiratsu, they were launched far enough back that I was safe, but always better to turn in when you're unsure. Now, as this battle unfolds, you can really see that the enemy team has completely gone to Charlie. They managed to get Bravo, and we're going to have a hard time getting it back. This is one of those maps that getting into Bravo is easy. Staying there and staying alive is very hard because it's closed in. There's good areas to be protected from to shoot into Bravo. There's nowhere really inside of Bravo to hide and remain protected. Now with this Mogami turning, I'm going to take a shot and really just go and fire a fire. They're sailing away, they're trying to run. If I can get a fire and do some damage, I'll take it. And that's the first damage I get on the board, 8,600, and the fire, it's going to burn for a while. And with these guns, one of the things I do really like is how much of your firepower is up on the front of the ship. 6 guns facing forward, 4 facing aft. You bring more gunpowder to bear up front, and the obvious comparison to the Dunkirk is pretty simple because of the number of barrels. The enemy King George and I are staring each other down, so I get a volley off, and I'm cutting to the right because I want to put this cliff between him and myself. I don't want him getting the chance to fire back. Like I said, you really do have to control how many things get to shoot at you at any given time. With him behind the rock, I'm now safe from spotting, and I'm pretty much going to find somewhere to cozy up to and just wait. There's no reason that, in my mind, I should be leading a charge into Bravo, but I want to be close enough that when ships do, I am there to support. So what I'm thinking here is this rock right next to Tin Can Captain is looking mighty friendly. It'll protect me from most gunfire, and depending how I position on it, I can really control what's shooting at me and who has shots and when they have shots. So I'm going to get my rudder hard over to port and really just tuck up in on the north side of it. Most of the enemy team is somewhere down in this area south of Bravo, so by putting myself on the north side, I'm safe from fire from them, and I can put some focus fire on any of these ships over in Charlie if they start to come my way. And with that volley, I got another fire, and some more damage that's just slowly counting up. Sadly, it gets returned, and you can see from that volley I took 6,000 damage. And that is the reality to the King George. You're going to eat damage when you get shot at. The thinner plate or deck and bow armor just mean that. So use those repair parties. I've pretty much decided this is where I'm going to live for a bit. It looks like a large chunk of their team might be coming up around the corner. There's a destroyer in the middle of Bravo, and there's still those ships over at Charlie. So I really kind of just decide I'm going to wait, Got 6 of my barrels aimed straight at that corner, just waiting for someone to come around. And there is a situation here, 1 or 2 points where I should have used AP. I didn't because I was rolling with HE. It's what was already loading. I wasn't going to sacrifice, 10 seconds of reload to get a better shell choice. And that volley there really could have been one of them. That King George wasn't well enough angled. I probably could have done some decent damage with AP. And it definitely seems like stopping behind this island is a choice that is paying off as just a massive wave of torpedoes go rolling by. And I'm just going to back up. We are definitely down in this game. They're up 740 to 300. 3 kills to none. I just need to start getting some damage down. So like any fire-burning cruiser, because really right now that's what I am. So many things are just bow on. I'm going to try to light fires on multiple ships and start just running up damage on enemies. I always find that the best way to kind of deal with this sort of situation. Now, I'd been paying better attention at the time. I would have seen that Charles Martel and thought, hey, maybe they're side on. The guns are loaded. I'm waiting for this Gneisenau now to give me a better angle. Now that he's side on, I really do feel my chance for fire is maximized. So I give the guns a shot. There it is, 2 fires. He put out the first one I lit, so those are gonna go duration. And this is where I should have been paying attention. Had I seen the Charles Martel coming up, after the shot at the Gneisenau, I should have had AP loading because this would have been an absolute freebie. They're driving at part speed, straight at an island, and even after shooting, I keep HE loading. So maybe I've just locked in my head that, no, HE's all you need. And fortunately in this battle, it worked out, but there's a definite misplay by me here. And calling myself on it, because, well, so much of the time, it can be a correct ammo choice. It just wasn't here. And with that smoke screen appearing, I'm feeling the pressure of a destroyer, and I don't think it is the enemy German Moss. It is the Fletcher. He gets spotted momentarily, so I'm gonna back the heck around this corner and just make sure I'm not about to eat torpedoes. I've slowly rolled up to 50,000 damage. Our team has clawed back 1 kill. It's now 4-2, and well, the points still a big gap, but you can see our Colorado there. He's charging around the south and getting some decent damage in on those ships that are kind of pinned down in a similar position to me, just south of B. So I'm going to keep reversing, get my spotter plane up, give myself a shot, and really do my best to support this Colorado. He's pushing in. I want to get the tertiary or secondary damage to help him survive against the 4 ships he sailed in on. And fire on the first volley is definitely going to help. I'm also feeling though that I've overstayed my welcome behind this rock. I don't want to be stationary, and I know beyond this Scharnhorst I'm not going to have a lot of shots. So I come up in speed. Right as I do, Fletcher gets spotted, so time to turn away and just keep those engines burning. Unfortunately, they disappear into the smoke, but this enemy King George has not. So I'm gonna be a little bold here, come back to right, get all my guns on this King George, and just let the shells fly. She hit a big chunk from the Colorado, which means I finish her off that volley, collecting a 2nd kill, and I'm up to 64,000 damage. That Scharnhorst in the south, burning. And this is where fires can just be so friendly. You know, when you manage to light up a couple ships, they're getting worked down, you're going to get kills without even really paying attention to it. And when I do flip over to that Scharnhorst, you can see she was getting low. There she goes, so another kill. And with that big wave of torpedoes heading straight at the Colorado's last position before they exploded, I'm feeling a little safer that the Fletcher wasn't paying attention to me. So starting to think about where my next shot is going to be at. And I was originally going to go with the rune, but when the Martel gets respotted, it's go time. They lit me on fire. Two can play this game, and a big volley. They kind of turn straight into it. 3,500 damage and pick up a fire. And this is where the hit point pool is nice. I'm getting into a battle one-on-one. I can tank a hell of a lot more than a Martel can, and they're a tier higher than me. And that's just the nature of a battleship. Bow on, still going to be HE. Nice 6,000, like 200 damage there. Pretty much half their remaining health. And meanwhile, I'm doing alright. I'm eating damage every volley, but they're not getting into the Citadel with the guns they have, and they're firing HE. Almost a shot for AP there, but at that kind of health, either way they're going to be dying. Light another fire, get a couple thousand damage, and you can see as they get shot, the fire tick is going to be enough to do it. I pick up a 4th kill, and I'm up to 82,000 damage. And our team really is back in this now. It's 5-on-5. We're only 200 points down now. At one point we're 400, and I'm just a little unsure where these destroyers are. They're obviously not in Bravo, but I was spotted for a moment there. I think I get spotted again. There it is. Which probably means they're either right behind me somewhere here or heading into Bravo. Or sorry, Alpha. Now, the second Alpha starts getting captured there, I feel a little safer. I know how far away they are. There shouldn't be any torpedoes coming for me, so I'm going to turn around this island and try to fall in with the rest of my fleet to support them. Take just a random shot at the cab. I've seen destroyers start returning fire because you've gotten close to them, they go, oh no, I'm spotted, and just decide it's time to shoot. And the one big difference here is, while much of the team is going to proceed towards Alpha and try to run down those destroyers, I'm a little more interested in this New Orleans and Nagato. I do want to get another kill. This would be a first Kraken in the ship for me, and it's just always fun to get. The New Orleans is spotted. I think the Fletcher is in that smoke. It's kind of where they've been living most of the battle, so definitely have to be careful about that. But as, once again, torpedoes get spotted, I kind of know I'm safe. Sort of line a shot up on the New Orleans, and the Nagato is respotted, and they're pretty much at full health, which is kind of impressive. For a bit I thought maybe they didn't start playing until right now, but their ship was actually facing south, I believe. So they have been playing, they've just managed to avoid a lot of damage. But that's fine by me, because it means there's more damage I can get. Now, the New Orleans kind of makes a misplay in my mind, trying to run away from our Fletcher and Fiji. He sails straight into the waiting guns of our Gneisenau, and the secondaries finish him off. You can see our Fletcher has chased down their Moss, and this is a battle I don't know how our Fletcher loses. He came in at full health, the Moss was at part health, and you can just see he's not winning the gunfight, and even elects to turn out as he launches torpedoes. And the further you get away from another ship in an American destroyer, the less likely you are to hit them, because you can see just the minor difference in arcs, even from this difference. The Moss has the gun advantage, and we are going to lose that Fletcher. And okay, there's the real reason why. A Shiratsu and the enemy Fletcher show up. My focus, however, is on this Nagato, and they can overmatch my bow. Which, to me, pretty much means expert angling, like, you know, being very precise with my angling, really isn't going to make a huge heck of a difference here, because their shells can just go through, even angled. So I'm going to really focus on just trying to keep all my guns on there. It is 2-on-1, I've got a friendly Gneisenau, so despite the fact that I'm entering this just above half health with a repair on the table, it should be pretty easy to secure this kill. Unfortunately, my aim is a little off there and only one shell hits, but they do have a fire going on them, so I've got that going for me as I'm about to tick over 100,000 damage. With that volley, I do it, and here's one of the advantages to the King George. There's no way this Nagato can outrun me. It's just not happening. And with the amount of gunpowder I have facing forward, even if the Nagato turns stern on to try to outrun me and get out, I've got 60% of my gunpowder facing forward. He's only got 50% facing rear. That's another advantage to me, and I'm only gonna be getting closer with each passing second. See, I pretty much turn right side on there, and a little lucky, Nagato misses me. Get another fire, and you can just see the hit points melting off. And we're on top in this game. Despite the fact that we've lost a couple vessels that went chasing down all those destroyers, we did get their Shiratsu, and with 2 caps, we've pulled this one back. It's only really going to take a kill, and there it is. And with that, I pick up Arsonist, Witherer, and Kraken Unleashed. And in my mind, the win is secure. We've got the Moss here. I line her up. I'm going to take a shot. Sadly, RNGesus decides not today, as the shells kind of all just split the hull either side, going long and short. But that is the game as we tick towards victory. Overall, the result, I was very happy with 387,000 credits, 13,000 experience, almost 9,500 free XP, Arsonist, Dreadnought, Kraken Unleashed, Witherer, and a couple of the achievements for the 2-year anniversary event. Obviously, the experience is boosted by a lot of flags, but 135,000 damage, 5 kills, it was a good game for me. Now, yes, I used a lot of HE. To me, other than the 1 or 2 spots I pointed out, it was the best ammo choice. There's going to be situations where it's a terrible choice, and I definitely had 1 or 2 of those and made the mistake, but I lived, I kept myself alive, and that's how you get damage and kills. And overall, second on the team, our Atlanta did a lot of work early on, and that's why they wound up where they were. As far as the ship goes, really I found the secret to her is you have to keep yourself alive. You have to protect yourself from incoming fire, and in a way, it kind of plays like a cruiser. It's just a cruiser with a really deep hit point pool, and reliable belt armor at least. The deck, the bow, it's thin. You're going to eat consistent damage, but like I said, I haven't found anyone getting into my Citadel yet. Now, obviously things can. There's not a ship in this game that can't be Citadeled. Realistically, as far as they go. Like, the armor's there. You can get through it if you have the perfect shot, but I've found her to be a good ship. Or maybe I should say him, because it's King George. Who knows? But there you can see the money I took home, just over 250,000 credits, and the experience from all those flags. And I have loved this event for that. The weekend was even better with the 200% experience. I hope everyone enjoyed this. I hope you learned a little thing or two about the ship, see if it's worth grinding to. I'll probably wind up keeping it. Anyways, if you liked it, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash. I'll have another one for you all later.